So you're looking at Bluffdale, Utah. You see the brand new homes. You hear about the lightning fast commute to Silicon Slopes, and you're thinking, this is it. This is the perfect spot for my family.
The pictures show happy people paragliding over the valley, kids playing in new parks, and it feels like the last slice of the American dream, conveniently tucked between Salt Lake City and Provo.
But before you call the moving truck, you need to hear what the glossy brochures and the real estate agents aren't going to tell you. The reality on the ground is a little more complicated, and that dream can quickly turn into a daily grind.
We're about to pull back the curtain on 7 major drawbacks that locals know all too well. And you've got to stick around for number 5 in particular, because it might save you from a huge and potentially hazardous mistake. We're Rod and Melody, your guides to living in Salt Lake City and beyond. With over 30 years in Utah real estate, we're here to help you navigate this beautiful state with confidence. We make videos about living in Salt Lake, exploring the suburbs, and what life in Utah is really like.
The Amenity Ghost Town.
Coming in at number 1 is a shock to the system for anyone who is used to basic conveniences like the convenience store. Bluffdale can feel like an amenity desert. For years, the city was literally a food desert, a term that is used for the area for limited access to affordable, nutritious food. So imagine having to plan a 15 to 20 minute drive to Riverton, Lehi, or Draper for every single grocery run, every Target trip, every time you want to go out for a decent meal.
Now, locals will correctly point out that a massive Smith's Marketplace finally opened on Redwood Road, and yes, having a modern grocery store is a game changer. But one grocery store doesn't make a city. The wider landscape of retail and dining is still incredibly sparse. You're not going to find charming, walkable main streets with boutiques and cafes here. What you will find are residential subdivisions stretching as far as the eye can see.
This reality is a direct result of the city's design. The overwhelming car dependency for nearly every errand is a major factor. So if the idea of strapping your kids into the car just to grab a gallon of milk or a cup of coffee sounds exhausting, you're going to regret moving to Bluffdale.
The never-ending construction nightmare. The second reason you might regret the move is something you can't get away from, the relentless, soul-crushing construction. Bluffdale's population is exploding. Now it's approaching 20,000 people, and the city is in a frantic race to build homes for everybody. This isn't just one house going up down the street. Think complete reinvention of the landscape. What were once open fields and horse properties are now seas of high-density townhomes and sprawling master-planned communities.
This means a constant soundtrack of nail guns and backup beepers from dawn till dusk. It means a permanent layer of dust settling on your car, your windows, and frankly in your lungs. But the residential build-out is only half of the story. The real nightmare is the infrastructure trying to play catch-up.
The poster child for this chaos is the 146 South Railroad underpass, known infamously as the one-lane bridge. For years, it was a terrifying bottleneck. The solution, they closed it completely.
In November of 2025, the entire road was shut down for a massive project to build a new 4-lane underpass. The completion date is a moving target, with official estimates pointing to the winter of 2026, while some reports suggest it could be early 2027. This has turned into a primary east-west artery, into a dead end, forcing thousands of residents into long, congested detours every single day. You watch for our 26 changes in 2026 updates, and we'll keep you informed on the changes.
Living in Bluffdale right now means planning your entire life around road closures, and that does get old pretty fast. The hidden costs of country living. All right, let's talk money. This is a big one. People look at Bluffdale because it does seem like a bargain, at least compared to pricier neighborhoods like Draper. But while the median home price might look tempting, that number is a smokescreen for the true cost of living here.
The overall cost of living in Bluffdale is about 17 to 21% higher than the national average. A huge driver of this is housing, which costs around 70 to 80% more than the national average. That affordable new home that you saw online, it's likely much smaller, on a much smaller lot, than you imagined as developers pack in those houses to maximize their profit. So the median home price is over $600,000 in Bluffdale.
Then comes the hidden fees. So Bluffdale is a patchwork of zoning from old agricultural lots to brand new high-density communities. This creates a confusing and often expensive web of homeowners associations. One neighborhood might have lax rules, while the next one, where you found your dream home, has a notoriously strict and costly HOA.
Yeah. Add in the rising property taxes to support the city's rapid growth. Bluffdale only receives about 13.59% of the residents' local property tax bill. That bargain quickly evaporates. So you're paying a premium for a suburban lifestyle without the premium amenities. If you're getting some value from this honest, no-hype look at Bluffdale, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps other people who are considering a move to find this crucial information.
Coming in at number 4 is a problem that makes all others worse. You're completely and utterly trapped in your car. Bluffdale is a public transportation black hole. There is no local frontrunner station. The nearest ones are in Draper or Lehi. We're working on that. A significant drive away. Forget about a robust bus system. While a new route, Route 219, is now active and offers some service along Redwood Road, it's a single route in a geographically spread out city with buses running about every 60 minutes on weekdays.
So now you'll hear whispers of future plans. The city's mayor has mentioned a vision for the front runner station near the Point development. Official project documents confirm a station is in the works, but construction isn't expected to be complete until 2029 or 2030 at the earliest, and it's dependent on federal grants.
That is years away for now and for the foreseeable future. Life in Bluffdale requires at least one car per adult. Your commute is in a car. Your grocery trip is in a car. Taking your kids to practice is in a car. This total reliance on personal vehicles means more time in traffic, more money on gas, and a feeling of being isolated in your own suburban bubble.
This brings us to the number 5 that you need to know. It's about the very air that you breathe. So first, the obvious. Bluffdale is windy. It sits in a valley channel, and with all the open fields and construction, windy days mean dust storms. It's a constant battle.
But there's a more sinister dust you probably need to be aware of. The Great Salt Lake is drying up at an alarming rate right now. As its shoreline recedes, it's exposing an ancient lake bed loaded with decades of accumulated contaminants from natural and man-made sources. One of those contaminants is arsenic. When the wind blows, it can pick up fine dust from this exposed lake bed and carry it into the Salt Lake Valley. Recent university research has confirmed that these dust particles contain leachable metals, including arsenic, at levels that exceed the EPA's own residential screening levels. While some state monitoring data suggests airborne arsenic hasn't increased, scientists and public health officials have called the shrinking lake and its dust an increasingly serious threat to health. While the long-term effects are still being studied, the risk is not speculative. It is a documented environmental issue for the entire region, and by moving to Bluffdale, you're choosing to live in that region. This is something that has become near and dear to our hearts, as we've got a lot of kids that live in the area, and we want to make sure that this area is protected as much as possible.
Reason number 6 is a modern annoyance that can feel like a major deal breaker: patchy and unreliable cell service. So you'd think that a booming suburb on the edge of the major tech hub would have great connectivity, right?
Yeah, wrong.
It's a constant complaint from residents.
You'll find dead zones, particularly in the lower-lying areas near the Jordan River and, ironically, in some of the newest, most expensive developments. Coverage can vary widely from carrier to carrier and even from one street to the next. As real estate agents, we're hyper-aware of this.
Yes, we are. The consequences extend far beyond the buffered video that leads to a dropped client, or maybe your navigation cutting out while you're trying to snake through another construction detour. So in the 21st century, reliable cell service is a must. It is something that many parts of Bluffdale hasn't kept up with.
Yeah. Finally, the 7th reason you might regret moving here is the most nuanced, but it might be the most important. Bluffdale is a town having a severe identity crisis. For decades, it was known for its equestrian lifestyle, larger lots, and a distinctly rural, independent feel.
That Bluffdale is vanishing.
The old guard is being squeezed out by the tsunami of master planned communities that favor high density over open space. That result is a culture clash. You have a population that moved here for space and autonomy, living next to thousands of new residents in townhomes governed by strict HOAs. It's not a charming rural town anymore, but it also lacks the amenities, culture, and walkability of a true city. It's interesting because this is one of the biggest issues. Most of our leaders have felt like, just building and packing them in is the right solution for housing affordability, and I think there's some other options.
So Bluffdale's stuck in this awkward, frustrating adolescence with a sea of rooftops without a core. And this means that the very reason that you might decide to move to Bluffdale, those wide open spaces and the small town feel, just might be a thing of the past.
Yeah. Look, after hearing all this, the amenity desert, the construction nightmare, the hidden costs, the transportation trap, the regional dust concerns, boy, there's a lot, the dead zones, and the identity crisis, you might be ready to cross Bluffdale off your list.
And for many people, that's probably the right call.
The purpose of this video is really to help you decide if Bluffdale is truly the right place for you. For some, it absolutely is.
And if you're a family that puts high value on a brand new home and a quick commute to Silicon Slopes, and you're willing to embrace the city with all of its little cons, this might be the community for you, because you've got that community spirit, you got beautiful parks, access to world-class mountain recreation. All of that's undeniable.
We've focused on a few of the negatives. There are plenty on the positive side of things. And this is kind of what we do. We help people get the honest truth about the market here in Utah. We're Rod and Melody, and we get calls, texts, and emails every single day from people just like you who are looking to make a smart move.
So we've helped over 1,500 families make their move in, out, and around Utah. So whether you're headed to St. George, South Jordan, or Smithfield, we've got you covered.
Feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. We're here to help you find the perfect spot for your family, even if that spot doesn't happen to be Bluffdale.
And if you're exploring where to live next in Utah, check out this video next.